everyone, welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. So today I'm going to be drawing something with a medium that I'm usually not using like at all, but there was someone that really wanted me to draw something with watercolor, so here I am doing it just for you. A big shout out for Samrin Somi, who was encouraging me to try this very much intimidating medium for me, but I need to be courageous and give a nice example for you all to also try new things and not be scared of failure, because I bet even if I fail with this drawing, I think it's still going to be very fun in the process. So let's just see what happens, right? For this drawing, I used a watercolor paper, obviously, because the other type of paper will not suit this medium as it requires a lot of water. And a thin type of paper is going to warp inevitably, so I suggest if you draw with watercolors or any type of watery medium, use a more thick paper. And for the longest time I had this watercolor set that I just randomly bought on one day when I was just randomly grocery shopping in one of the supermarkets, and I saw this watercolor in a good price, so I'm like, okay, I will probably use it at some point, so I'm just gonna grab it since it has a good price, and then it will be laying down in my studio until the right time. Like most of my crafting materials are, they're just sitting in the box inside the shelf, patiently waiting when my ADHD-ish brain is going to have a new hyperfix or a new brilliant idea for craft. I'm so sorry. So yeah, I'm kind of happy that this watercolor set has finally lived up to its shining moment. I think this is the first time that I'm using this set because I had some friends over before and they were using this watercolor set when we were painting together, but I didn't ever use watercolors. I just had them for them, kind of. So they're barely used and basically almost new. And then there's obviously a brush set, but for this drawing I'm just using one because I have no idea how to use the rest of them. So I just took the basic round pointy brush and I'm working on the colors starting from the lighter tones and working my layers up to the darker points. At least that's what I think is right for watercolor, but honestly I have no idea, so I'm just trying to figure things out as I go. But it's way easier to add more darker colors than to make them brighter. I think it's really impossible to make them brighter unless they're still not dried up. I hope that makes sense. I really never ever drawn a character with watercolors. Like, I tried watercoloring before, but I usually did it with some either nature inspired drawings or like very simple landscape drawings. I think I drew also some flowers maybe, or some nebula, like, you know, abstract type of drawing, so you don't have to think much about it. But for the character I really need to be careful with how much ink I use and how much water I put on the paper. And even though this is a watercolor paper specifically, I still don't want to use too much water, just to have more control over the paint where it's going. And I wanted to keep more pastel-y and light colors because I think that's the best feature of this specific medium. And with watercolors you cannot really rush, because if you don't let your layers dry up, they're going to mix and the whole drawing is going to be looking like dirty, you know, and the colors are going to mix with each other and the colors are not going to be as bright or saturated, if that makes sense. And I really wanted a very warm colors because a character that I chose is my original character, who is a darkness healer that is using butterflies in her healing powers. So I thought to myself that watercolor is the perfect medium for drawing this character, actually, because of how fluffy and airy her magic is, because it's like a butterflies, literally. Like, imagine an elfin lady that doesn't use any kind of magic stuff and she's just casting magic with her hands, and there are like splashes of colors appearing together with some shininess, and they're forming into butterfly shapes. And depending on what type of magic she's casting, like offensive or defensive, the colors of the butterflies will change. So offensive butterflies would be purple bluish color, and healing and defensive butterflies would be pink. So yeah, in this specific portrait, I wanted to feature the healing butterfly sitting on her hair and her finger, and I also wanted to feature her tempting gaze, or maybe even a little bit somewhat seductive gaze, you know? She's this type of character who would be blowing kisses at you and, you know, be all princessy and elegant type of character. So I hope that shows in my drawing as well. And I wouldn't be me if I wouldn't have added some line art. So as usual, I'm going to add some finishing touches with my brush liner on top of the watercolors. And I feel like watercolor coloring and brush pen line art are working so good together, and they're giving this calligraphy-like look. I don't know about you, but it makes me completely obsessed. And I'm having so much fun with my brush liners. You cannot imagine. Like, the line weight variety is just chef kiss. Of course, before going on with my line art, I make sure that the whole watercolor layer is completely dry, so it will not be ruined and splashed all over the watery paper. And for the finisher, I'm going to put some extra coloring for the butterflies with my shiny metallic acrylic paint markers. And this is going to be it for this little drawing. I hope you enjoyed the process as much as I did. Honestly, I never thought that watercolors would be so fun to do. So thank you very much, Sam Rain Sami, for suggesting this medium and encouraging me to try it out. I really had a lot of fun with it, and I'm probably going to draw some more watercolor characters in the future. So if you like this type of work, you can subscribe to this channel, give it a like and a comment. Every type of interaction and all of your lovely comments are very much appreciated. Thank you to each and every one of you. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.